Hello, my name is Brandon Foster, and I'm going to be going over a few talking points for an assignment um, regarding special education, ethics, legalities, philosophy, and things of that nature. When it comes to the role of special education teachers in a classroom, I feel that it is their job to support and enhance the learning of the students. Safety is always the number one priority, especially with exceptional learners. Making sure that not only you understand um, their personalities and what they might have handicaps with so you can support them, but also making sure that their learning environment is a safe environment for them to be in. Um, Also, professional expectations range from everything from punctuality to understanding your students again, um, to constantly trying to learn about better ways to support them, which also falls into ethics and being sure that you are not only treating them well, but I believe that part of ethics is putting forth your best effort, especially in a role like that, so that you can genuinely say that you are giving them the best care and support that you can. Um, Collaboration is very important. You can always learn more from working with other people, and special education teachers often work with general education teachers, whether it's like small groups within the classroom itself or just talking about how a student is doing so that each person, each teacher understands what they can continue to do or what changes need to be made to support the student. Um, and the same thing for advocating, whether it's going to a principal, going to a board of education member, or someone in the community who may be able to donate supplies, funds, different things, seeking funds for students. Um, it's also important that the special education teachers are advocating for their students in that way because they are often the only person that will, and no one understands their students better than that teacher. My personal vision for meeting the learning needs of students with exceptionalities is to really have a solid understanding for each student on an individual level. So understanding IEPs, 504s, understanding what things to be aware of, like, hey, if this student has a risk of seizures, knowing how to help them when that happens, how to keep other people safe and calm, and knowing how to best support them. Um, so really like a data driven point of view, just understanding the student as well as academically, like where are they struggling with, how do they need help, but also building a relationship and rapport with the student. I think is also really important, and just letting them know that, like, yes, while with every job there are boundaries, are lines you don't cross. Also letting them know, like, you matter, you're important, I care about you. I think that goes a long way. And I think it also helps the student tremendously when they know that other people have their back. Um, the ethical frameworks and standards that I examined that really stood out to me were, and use as far as utilizing practical wisdom. Um, I think there's a really special sense of awareness that goes into education specifically, and being aware of some of those MCEE standards that we use this week. I think it's really important to kind of keep those at the forefront of your mind and do your best not only to go over them and refresh yourself on them, but also to communicate them with other people. Like, if a parent wants to be really supportive but is a little overly involved, or wants is starting to like blur the lines of communication, like just letting them know, hey, like there are certain policies and things I have to do to keep myself and students safe, like, and because of that I can't do this, or just keeping those healthy boundaries so that everyone is safe and that every T is uh every I is dotted and every T is crossed. As far as the Christian worldview and perspective, I'd like to apply. I think the biggest thing that we as special educators can do when it comes to enacting Christian values within the classroom, within our job and our role, is to really love like Jesus. It's so easy to get caught up in how someone looks, how someone sounds, and a lot of these students who fall under the umbrella of special education, some of them will pick up skills, some of them will eventually be able to blend into society, and lots of them will have handicaps that by the time they are of a working age or get out into society, they'll learn how to cover it up or won't be super noticeable unless you know them. But a lot of them will be the outliers for the majority, if not the entirety of their life. So I think if you can just love them the way that anyone is loved, love the way that Jesus would, and just let them know, like, hey, I don't see you any differently than I see anyone else, I think that goes a long way. And of course, again, giving them your best effort so that they really are growing just as any others, just as any student should. And the way I will continue to deepen my understanding for diverse learners is really just trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can from people who are experienced in the field, from teachers who work with them on an everyday basis, from their parents, from any maybe a coach they have, going to trainings and seminars. There's just so much to learn. Even looking into things like uh, the health of the brain, depending on what they have, how they develop, trying to understand their perspective and how they interpret things, why certain things are difficult for them, why certain things make them upset, how they communicate. All of that is really important to really understand my students and to better work with them, to not only relate to them, but to also help them grow in their learning and continue to progress as academic students towards whatever goals they have for themselves.